Hi guys, Julie Love here, lead beauty guide with Limelight by Alcone, and it has been too long since I hopped on to see you guys. I don't know if, actually let me invite one person real fast before I forget, because I will. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have seen at all, but I have been posting, inviting more people. I have been posting about a young man named Paul Swenson, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about that, and then I'm going to get into a Mormon topic that kind of relates to what I'm about to talk about. But Paul was a really dear friend of our family's. He wasn't super close to us, but he was Austin's direct supervisor when he worked for Altera, which is now active, and that is a pest control company. They do door-to-door. It's a really, it's run by a Mormon. It's, I don't know if they sold it off to a non-Mormon, but it doesn't really matter. But there's just a ton of Latter-day Saints that do door-to-door sales, just coming off of their missions. That's a really common thing for husbands to go out and do. It's a very lucrative business. You can make a lot of money doing it. So Paul was Austin's direct supervisor. He dealt with our family a lot. And the last year, so Austin did summer sales for 3 years. The last year that Austin did summer sales, he didn't enjoy it that much. It wasn't a great experience, but Sam Swenson, his brother, was, and Paul both, really stuck up for Austin. They're just, that whole family is just super sweet. My experience with Paul, having, talked to him before, is that he is just such a loving man. He is definitely a man of God. He was funny. He had a ton of integrity. He was just very rational and really could see through a godly eye versus a worldly eye. He really stepped up to bat for Austin when other people wouldn't, and honestly made a huge difference in our family. I have a lot of respect for Paul, and I know Austin does too. I think Austin's a little bit in shock at the moment, because you see missing person ads all the time, but he was just scrolling through Facebook, and then all of a sudden he saw Paul on this missing person ad, and it's kind of weird because this is the first time that I've actually known someone personally that has gone missing, and you can see that I'm tearing up, but it's a very odd, kind of puzzling situation, and I don't really think that there needs to be a lot of theory behind what happened. But all that I know is that there are hundreds of people looking for Paul, if not thousands, in the state of Utah where he went missing. And no, he has not been found yet. He has been missing since Thursday of last week. And, I know a lot of people have asked, the news story that I shared, they're like, well, his car was found under suspicious circumstances. And a lot of people have been asking me, what does that mean? So he left his house to go to an appointment, and he never showed up for that appointment, and then his car was found with belongings inside that weren't his. So nothing too crazy, but it's just this whole thing, his car was just found abandoned outside of an elementary school with stuff inside that did not belong to him. So cell phones of other people, things like that, and he hasn't been heard from since. It's also very weird because all of his social media accounts have been deleted, all of them. And knowing Paul, he and his wife Ashley, their daughter was a blessing to them, a huge blessing. It truly was a gift from God. They had really wanted to start a family, and they had a really hard time doing so. He loved Poppy so much. I followed him on all his social media accounts, and it just seemed like every day he was posting something about Poppy, their 7-month-old daughter, and how much he loved Poppy and how he was so blessed to be her father. And the one thing that I do want to say is there's a lot of speculation and a lot of kind of hurtful things being said about Paul. And I kind of want to end that because Paul is not the type of person to abandon his family. If you would have known him, it's just, for that to have happened would be very, very weird. So I think I'd like to focus more on finding him than speculating on what happened. And this is where I'm going to get into my other topic, which is fasting. So on the Find Paul Swenson page, which is on Facebook, if you live out west, if you're local to Utah, Arizona, Nevada, any of the surrounding states, and you'd like to be personally involved in helping find Paul, you can join the Find Paul Swenson, and it's PAUL space WSENSON on Facebook. That is where his family and friends have they post updates every day. They meet somewhere in Utah. They are doing huge volunteer events where people are going out and walking on foot, looking for Paul, doing hiking, driving. I mean, there are just hundreds of people, but that's kind of where that volunteer effort is being organized, is on that Facebook page. There you will also find flyers that you can take to your local Office Max or anything like that, where they will print them for you, and you can post them at gas stations, public places, bus stations, Greyhound stations. So if you do live out west, I would truly appreciate that, because obviously here in Louisville, Kentucky, there's not a whole lot I can do besides share it on social media and just make sure that that poster is getting out there as much as possible. This is a really widely known news story. I mean, it's been featured on Fox. There are people all over the country that have heard of Paul Swenson at this point. But if you do live out west, I have a lot of friends in Utah. It would mean the world to me if you would spend one day serving the Swenson family and going out and looking for Paul. I know they're providing food and water for all the volunteers, and honestly, this is just a huge opportunity to serve a family in need. But in addition to that, on the Find Paul Swenson page, I know the Swenson family has been fasting on their own, but they've also invited anyone who would like to fast for the safe return of Paul and for the strength of the Swenson family to do so, and any other things you feel like you need to fast for. There was someone on that page, though, that said, "What is fasting?" And this is kind of where I wanted to talk about this concept, and it's not strictly to Mormonism, but Mormons do fast once a month. The first Sunday of every month we fast, we give up a meal, and then in replace of that we donate whatever we would have spent as a family feeding ourselves to the poor and to those in need of food. So we do that once a month, and then we also can fast at any point for strength, guidance. You know, if God has blessed us, we can fast in gratitude. So it's kind of sacrificing food and water for 2 consecutive meals in a 24-hour period to thank the Lord, or to seek some kind of guidance or strength. So tomorrow, August 1st, there is going to be a huge nationwide fast for Paul Swenson, which I think is so awesome. And I say nationwide because there are thousands of people on the Find Paul Swenson page, not centrally located to Utah. There are people following this all over the country. But if you would like to personally give up 2 meals in your day tomorrow, fast for Paul Swenson, basically that is the idea of fasting. Mormons do this a lot. This is kind of our, like, I call it like the Holy Grail pass a little bit. Like, it is the biggest token if you are making a big decision or something in your life's going on that's big, that needs a lot of spiritual strength. This is kind of how we do it. But If you would like to do that, you're more than welcome to. I know I personally will be fasting tomorrow for Paul Swenson, joining in hundreds of people to do this for their family and for Paul for his safe return. So again, that's just giving up food and water for 2 meals. And specifically, they've outlined the hours of 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So for those 10 hours, not eating or drinking anything. And then typically with a fast, you start it with a prayer and you end it with a prayer. So you can pray for whatever you want, whatever you feel like, whatever your heart's telling you to pray for it. And then at the end, you kind of give thanks for the ability that we've had to feel spiritually strengthened, because I can testify that you will, and that you will receive guidance on how you personally can help find Paul Swenson, no matter if you're out here on the Midwest, East Coast, or South like we are, or if you're more in the thick of things out west in Utah, Nevada, Arizona, Washington, California, those kind of places where the case is really hot. Either way, you will feel spiritually strengthened. Not only for the Swenson family, but personally as well, and being guided on how you can help this family in their time of need. But I just kind of wanted to speak personally to the Swenson family because I didn't have a whole lot of interaction with them, but when I did, I just had so much respect for Paul. I mean, Paul was just an amazing person, and he did a lot for our family, like I said, and he always went to bat for Austin because sales is very competitive, and you negotiate the terms, your sales terms, your compensation terms, and Paul was always right there behind Austin when people didn't believe in him. The way that I believed in him, the way that he believed in himself, Paul was right there. Paul believed in Austin, and it meant a lot to me because there were a lot of people that didn't. And he was just a really, really kind, generous person who did a lot for other people. He was very selfless, and he loves his family so much. Ashley and Poppy, my heart goes out to you guys. I know what it's like to have a baby. There's a 7 months old, mine's almost 9, but it's not easy, and I can't even imagine the situation that they're in right now. So I'm calling all the prayer warriors. I've kind of plastered this all over my social media, so I do apologize if you find that annoying, but this man is a great man, and I do wish for his return and pray for him in his time of need as well. So thank you guys for watching. If you'd like to join in on that fast, please do so. You don't have to be Mormon. People fast all the time. It's not just, our religion, but I wanted to explain it the way that Mormons know it, so that if you'd like to do that, you absolutely can. And I appreciate all of the shares and the likes. The more you like the things I post about Paul, the more they're seen. And obviously, when you share them, your network gets to see them. And no matter if you're out here or, like I said, you're in the thick of things out west, I appreciate it so much. And I know the Swenson family would thank you as well if they could. Thank you guys 100 times over. Continue to pray, and join me in my fast tomorrow. It would mean the world to me. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.